'cause the fun never ends with these three best friends. The fun never ends with the boys.
With the boys.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to The Boys Cold One Hour on WIUX LP Bloomington. My name is Jonathan.
My name is Clay.
My name is Billy.
And we have a special guest today in the studio, Stephanie.
Stephanie, but we'll get to her later.
All right, grab a cold one, sit back, relax, and enjoy this hour with us.
Enjoy it. Thank
There
you.
it is.
There
There's the
it
cold
is. You know, that was a tough lid.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Who are those boys on the radio? They've got some cold ones and their own show. Open up your ears, listen to us. Forget your fears, there's no need to fuss. 'Cause the fun never ends with these three best friends. The fun never ends with the boys. With the boys. We're so glad you're here with us tonight. We can't wait to bring you another show.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Shout out to
We missed you.
Garage Podge,
Garage Podge with Bristol, the show
Podge
before
with
us.
Bristol.
You should listen to it and support it. It was a great show.
one of our favorite
I
shows.
believe she had her mom on. Very sweet.
A very special episode. We were all touched. We listened to it before.
Yeah, we listened to it. We shared a few tears, I'm going to be honest. A few cold ones and a few tears.
And thank you guys, of course, for tuning in.
There's some cold
to
ones
us.
coming from our eyes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cold ones from our eyes.
Thank you more importantly. I mean, not more importantly at all, sorry. Thank you also
importantly.
for listening to us.
Yes, thank you. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook.
At
all
Boys
the good.
Cold
Please,
One Hour.
hashtag at Boys Cold One Hour. Please
Hashtag Cold
please
One
friend us on
Boys,
Direct TV so you can
Tell
see
your
what we're watching.
friends, tell your enemies, tell people you don't know, tell people you do know.
Exactly. Find us on Club Penguin. You can find us anywhere on the internet.
Any press is good press.
Don't-
We've got a
Yeah,
webkins.
don't say any offensive language in our Club Penguin chat room, though. You will be blocked
Yes.
instantly. We have a whole system set up. But anyways, also shout out to a show that we talked about before, Welcome to the Show, which
Great
is
show.
our friends.
One of WIUX's finest programs.
Definitely one of the funnest
They
programs.
air on
one
Fridays,
of, one of
right?
many,
Fridays
yeah.
at what time?
They're at Fridays from 2 to 3 p.m. And obviously, Welcome to the Show is a very special show, but it'll be even more special this week because if you tune in this week, not only will you hear Welcome to the Show, the Cold One girls, you will also hear the Cold One boys with them.
Yeah,
We'll be
special
guests.
crossover episode.
How many
Special
times have
crossover
you
guest
guys?
episode.
How many times have you guys on Monday night, right after the show ends, you're like, oh man,
I don't want them to leave.
only one day a week that I get to listen
And then you go
with the
back to
boys.
sleep, you go back to sleep until Monday night.
Exactly.
You
And
sleep the whole week away. You don't have
so
anything else to do.
now, Monday and Friday, we will be on the air. Well, probably. We still need to work out the details. We're pretty sure, right?
We're gonna
pretty
try.
sure
We're gonna have a
it's gonna-
crossover episode.
pretty-
Boys Cold 1 Hour.
We haven't
special guests.
We haven't said anything about it or
Yeah,
ran
we
it
might
by
have to
them.
skip a class. Hopefully not. We'll see.
Right. We haven't asked them about it, but we just really feel in our
Wait,
hearts
no.
that they'll want
I
us
thought
on.
we were requested,
No, sorry.
which is actually a huge honor to be requested by, especially by this show, since it's really.
Right. Well,
One of the top tier WIUX.
the Cold
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the show, the Cold One Girls. They're a great show, but more importantly, we have a fourth Cold One boy with us today.
Yeah, our
Hi,
special
Stephanie.
guest, Stephanie
Hi, guys.
Bolts.
Thanks
Welcome to
for
the show.
having me.
Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
First time on.
Thank you.
So, Stephanie, as a guest, so our beloved audience can get to know you a little bit better, you should tell us your favorite type of cold one.
My favorite type of cold one is the orange creamsicle.
Ooh.
It's very delicious.
When do you like to drink the orange creamsicle?
Ooh, on Friday nights
Why?
and while I'm watching your guys' show.
You like to drink it on Friday nights when you listen.
You have radio holographic technology. Which, if you guys don't have that, you should really invest. You can see a hologram of us.
Well, she just drives by the WIUX house and watches us through the window.
Oh, yeah.
She can't hear anything actually. She, just watches.
She
she
just
likes
watches.
to interpret it her own way.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, and you like drinking on Friday night, right? Is that so you can listen to Welcome to the Show?
Yes,
And be like, this is a
exactly.
great show. They need the Cold One boys on there. Exactly. So let's quickly go to our next matter of business, which is the Boy Wonder of the week.
Oh, yes, indeed.
The Boy Wonder this week is, you definitely know him. He's one of your favorite
You
boys.
love him.
You love him. You've heard him before as a special guest. And as our manager in every episode since the very beginning, Sergey, the Boy Wonder.
Sergey, wow.
And just for everybody to know, the Boy Wonder is every week an honor that we give to a certain boy who's been acting wonderful, who did something amazing.
So what did he do to deserve this?
Well, he paid for everyone everyone's Taco Bell.
Oh, yes, it
right before
did.
the show,
That was
except,
so
except for me.
Yes.
Well,
And if you've ever listened to our show
Jay paid
before,
for
you
you.
I mean,
know
yeah,
that
Jay
we
paid for me,
really
so it's
love
okay.
Taco Bell.
So it's
So
okay.
this really pulled through for us.
Yeah, I didn't
I
even
was just
order
sitting there
anything.
hungry.
Yeah.
You know, just hoping I would get some scrap of food at some point
So
before
that-
I came in
exactly.
to do this show for you guys. And Sergey, our manager, just came in with this hot hot
He had,
burrito.
he had
Actually,
a hot Taco Bell box.
He had a hot
full box full of Taco Bells.
He was hotboxing with Taco Bell.
He was definitely bringing a hot box of Taco Bells, and there was food for everybody. It was like I think it was like Christmas kind of.
It was.
It was. And wait a minute.
Cold one.
Because Sergey does have a beard, so when he came in holding a Taco Bell box, you know,
You
he
mistook him for Santa for like a couple
He kind of
seconds.
looked like a more ethnic Santa, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wait. So Jonathan's been the boy wonder. You, Clay, you've been the boy wonder.
been the boy wonder a
Even
few
Sergey,
times.
our manager, has been the boy wonder. I
Yeah,
mean,
those are some wonderful guys.
those
I
are
really
really
did- they really deserve it.
Yeah. Wow. I can't.
all right. Don't flatter yourself too much. Next week. I haven't been the blunder yet. Well, at least I hope I'm not.
Well, I think you're
Ooh,
digging
you
your
might-
grave
I
about
don't know,
now.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, jealousy is next to blunder.
Let's announce the boy blunder of the week. How about?
The boy blunder of the week. Well, normally the boy blunder of the week is somebody who does one thing that's blunderous.
Let's just
that's
say
embarrassing.
this time, I happen to know what
Oh
it is.
my
Oh my
god!
Like,
there were so many
Like
blunders that happened
15
today.
blunders. Yes,
all of them were today.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the boy blunder of this week, the boy who really messed up is
Really messed up.
Jonathan Falk. Yay, Jonathan.
Okay.
I like to point out that at this point, Jonathan is a four-time boy blunder winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
know, I think one of the best things about me is I'm willing to accept my flaws.
Right.
You know, you guys just keep bringing them up again and again, but I'm really not ashamed
I mean,
of
hey, you
them.
won the wonder
you a
3
strong-
times
making you a
too.
stronger person. We're preventing future blunders.
This builds character. Look at me. I'm not building any character.
Yeah, look
from
at him.
this. Look at
This
this.
guy's
You guys
never
should be feeling
blundered.
sorry for me.
He has
Never
no
blundered.
integrity.
Look at this lack of character.
This guy's no backbone.
integrity. Let's not bring integrity.
Oh, you don't know a
into
thing about integrity. Anyways.
All right.
So
Okay,
first,
so what did I do this week? Lay it on me.
so we were all driving to meet up with the promotions committee, which is our WIUX committee.
Yes.
I graciously, almost wonderfully, volunteered to drive everybody to the WIUX house. I got in the car. I said, "I'm leaving right now." Or I said, I'm leaving just a second, which means literally just a second, like 1 second. Got in my car, drove to Jonathan's house.
And then I texted him immediately and I said,
Yeah,
hey,
while
I'm
he was
going to-
driving.
So I got to Jonathan's house and it says, "I'm at Hodge Hall." And I said, "Are you kidding me? How was I? Well, you had all day to tell me. You didn't tell me until I was in the car. Did you want me to text and drive and like look at your message and drive into a pole?" So that was the first blunder.
Okay. I didn't want you to text and drive, but I texted you literally immediately after you said, I'm
I
about
think
to come
this
over
is-
and get you.
this is-
I let you know I'm at Hodge Hall. I didn't know
Could
where I
have
was
given
going to be
some
earlier.
advance notice,
so-
though. Then what happens?
That's basically a support of texting and driving.
Texting and driving.
Yeah, so
I mean, I
basically-
don't support that.
What happens next is we have to pick him up. He's not actually at Hodge Hall. We pick him up
No,
at like
we
this.
drive past Hodge Hall. He is nowhere to
he's
be
not
found.
there. Nowhere to be
Okay.
found. We find. He's like, where was he? He's at like a shady
He
construction
was in
site.
this weird wasteland.
He was right by the dumpster too.
He was behind Hodge Hall.
He was kind of by Hodge
He was
Hall.
at like the
Yeah.
Hodge Hall.
Okay.
Like,
But we're like, what are you
like-
doing? You're
like-
hanging out at construction
At
sites.
this point,
abandoned
I was just
haunted-
looking out for you guys because you know it's very dangerous to pull up on Fee Lane. You know it's not a safe place to be.
Right.
There's a lot of students. There's a lot of buses.
He was though in the.
So I pulled into this and I walked to this parking lot where I actually had been picked up by Clay before.
Right, but this was like the underbelly of Kelly. Like it was dirty. There
seedy underbelly
there were
of
big
Kelly.
cats with only one eye prowling around.
Yeah. That's where the
scary.
non-directed mates
Very,
hang
very
out.
dirty. I was scared to have my car there for a second. But anyways, Jonathan hopped in and we
did.
rushed over to the committee meeting, which we were a little bit late for.
Just barely.
Just barely.
We'll get into more of
shout
that
out,
later.
Shout out to Emily. Yeah, definitely. And we'll get into more why we were late later because somebody doesn't know how to drive. But when we got there, Jonathan decided he was going to march upstairs, use the bathroom without knocking, and proceeded to walk in on somebody in the bathroom.
Okay. This
Yeah,
one
and then-
literally.
and then
did
And
WIUX
then
not-
Emily comes up to me and she's like, "Where's Jonathan?" And I'm like, "I have no clue. I guess he's apparently walking in on someone in the bathroom." Not only does he
Okay.
show up late because of him,
Right.
now he's
also-
not even there for the meeting. His head's
Okay,
in
this
the
one's
clouds.
literally just fabricated. So there was
No.
somebody in the bathroom. I knew that they were there.
He knew
so I was
they were
like,
there 'cause he
"All right,
saw them
I'm just going to turn around
in the
and
middle of the
leave."
act.
I didn't even open the door. I just saw the door was closed. I just turned around. These boys are just trying to make me the blunder, just to
Right.
cover up for
All right,
their
well,
own
there's even
faults,
more
but
if you really want. If
They're
you
just
really
putting
need,
me down to make themselves look better. I think
you
that's
really
what's
need
going on
more.
here.
Well, you know.
We went chalking.
Okay, like
after
obviously, walking on someone in the bathroom, you can't get any worse than that.
that. Yeah. Well, that's what I thought.
That's what we thought.
That's what I thought. Until we
As a
went chalking,
punishment,
as I said.
as a punishment for
Yeah.
Jonathan walking in the bathroom, Emily said, "You guys have to go chalk
Yeah.
in the freezing weather
We actually had to do it
on hands
anyway.
and knees."
We put out chalk promoting WIUX Pledge Drive.
Which-
a lot of cool events that they have
lot
going
of
on
cool
this
events.
week.
Yeah, shout out
We'll
to-
probably be plugging that later.
Definitely be plugging it later. But so we're chalking.
Jonathan
and
takes the best chalk.
the best, literally the green and blue chalk, which is the only chalk you can see. Proceeds to
Okay,
break the
okay.
best chalk
Yeah, he
in
break-
half. Then we try to go a different spot.
And he realized he's like, oh, what happened to the other half
He
of that
left
chalk?
it. That's
he
what
left
it
it
was.
there. So we had to walk back.
He walked back. It took forever.
Yeah.
He did so much.
We were like, did you get lost walking?
I did my homework. I called my mom, my dad.
Yeah, he got lost
I wrote
walking
my
around the
will.
corner to get this chalk.
This guy doesn't know where he's going.
And then when we do finally finish chalking, we have like WIUX. And
we stand up, we look at our work, and we see that Jonathan, under the WAX logo, has drawn what seems to be a gigantic breadstick.
Yeah, which made no sense.
Which made no sense.
No, I understand.
Okay,
Like
okay.
you were trying to draw a fancy line, and then you messed up and tried to recover.
It looked like it was like a WIX like Fazoli's drive.
You know, I've never been much of an artist. I did win a coloring contest actually in second grade. It won me a scooter.
Okay, well, that's
so you know
what
I wanted to flex my artistic abilities
You know,
all over the chalk
Exactly.
for WIUX.
I wish I could have done that because I could
You know,
have
I ended
wonder.
up drawing a really great breadstick, even though I meant to draw just a cool design.
Okay, honestly though, if he meant to draw breadstick, it was a pretty good breadstick.
Yeah,
It was
that's
a good
true. That's
breadstick,
true.
so
I'll
I
give
will
you
eat
that.
that.
I
would
think
eat
that was
that.
the end of the blunders, but those were.
was.
I think
A lot
1
of
hour
blunders,
span
yeah.
were like
Yeah.
about like
That's true. Yeah,
20
That's
blunders.
true.
I actually thought I was like, okay, Jonathan's been the blunder, Clay's been the blunder. I'm probably gonna end up being the blunder this week, aren't I?
But
They're
no, he
they're
can't
gonna
take any
gang up on me.
criticism.
Clean cut Billy over here.
I mean,
you know.
honestly, I kind of wanted to be the blunder. I just want to win an award, you know, and Jonathan just took that away.
He just decided
But, you know,
to.
it's okay.
He decided, yeah,
it's okay.
He really wanted to take it away with all his blunders. Anyways, we're a little bit over time. We don't want to leave you at all, but we have to. We'll miss you really
We've
bad,
got
but
some
we're about
great
to play.
music planned for
We're about
you.
to
Stay tuned.
We picked one of our favorite songs. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we're gonna miss you. But we hope you love this song.
We'll see you on the other
Bye-bye.
side.
You ready, Sergey?
Lately there's been something on my mind. Seems to me I'm falling way behind. But it don't bug me none that I'm terrified. No, it don't bug me none. No, no, no. Times like this I fail to act my age. Seems to me I'm trapped inside a cage. But it don't bug me none that I'm petrified. No, it don't bug me none. No, it don't bug me none. No, no, no. There's a way that you go. And I hate
Sergey, are we back on?
Yes, we are.
We are.
That was a great song. I really
Great
enjoyed
song.
that.
What was that?
It
One of
was
our favorite songs.
Something on My Mind by Dolly Spartans.
By the Dolly Spartans.
That was- I enjoyed
great.
that.
One of our favorite songs. Yeah, we picked it
One of our
specifically
best,
for
I
you
think.
guys.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best songs.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Don't
because
worry. I hope we didn't get freaked out that we weren't ever going to come back.
Yeah, don't worry. We're back. And we're glad you're back because we're going to hear from our special guest soon. Some really special stuff with her. But first, let's introduce
Topic
today's
of the
topic.
day. A topic that almost everyone has experienced, and we've had varying degrees of trauma when it comes to it. Learning how to drive.
Learning how to drive. Okay.
tough
Learning
stuff,
how to
you know?
drive. Yeah. So this was quite a process for me. First of all, I failed my learner's permit test. I took my learner's permit, and then I got my learner's permit. If you guys don't mind me going first.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Not that we had a choice. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And then I had the driver's instructor from hell. He was horrible. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice man, but his driving instructing was very aggressive, very crazy. He used to pick me up from school, which I always thought was weird. He never come on the weekend and pick me up from house. He'd be like, okay, when's your school done? I'm going to pick you up from McDonald's right outside of school. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. Then I got in the car and he seemed like the nicest man. He says, I'm never going to yell at you. I'm never going to make you feel bad in this car. You know, then I proceed to start the car, having never driven before, and he instantly starts screaming at me.
What?
It was really, really stressful. Yeah.
Did you even do anything wrong? Or
Yes.
Did
I'd
you?
never
Ooh,
driven before, though.
little blunder.
He wanted me to drive home from school, which is, I went to school in downtown Indianapolis, and I don't live there. So it was a long drive, and I was very, very scared. I made a lot of blunders. Thank God he had his brake in his passenger seat, but he was really weird, because he would call to order a pizza while I was supposed to be driving him, and he'd be half screaming at me and half screaming at the pizza man, like he'd be like, turn your wheels, and the pizza man would be like, are you talking about no? And he'd be like, I want pepperoni.
I want mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly. No,
It's like,
exactly.
not you.
Exactly. And then he'd hang up on the pizza man. I'm like, okay, finally he can pay attention to me. And he would just be like, he was one of those guys he'd be like, what does this do? And I was like, I don't know. And he'd be like, I don't know. There is no I don't know. What does that do? And I was like, I literally don't know. Like, I could not even possibly guess what it was. But I had to guess until he got mad at me and told me the real meaning of it. And then he'd call his wife and yell at her while I was driving, call his daughter and yell at her while I was driving. It was all over speakerphone. He made me run chores for him.
Wait, is this serious?
This is very serious.
What the heck?
He was a very strange, very aggressive man, and I was horrified by him. He created a fear of driving that took quite a while to subside, and I was so scared of him. I actually quit driver's ed before my last lesson, and because of it, my learner's permit got revoked.
Really?
Yes.
What? No
My learner's
way.
permit got
I did
revoked
not
because
know that.
I got it when I was 15, so technically it's not really the legal age unless you take a driving class, which is what I took, but it was a catastrophe.
That loophole.
Exactly. So I had to wait a little bit. I got it again. I passed the test right away, got my learner's permit eventually, but it was a long time before I got over that driving instructor because he was,
Interesting.
and if he's listening now, why were you so mean? I was really, really scared.
Wow, I never had anything that traumatic or anything. I did have some weird experiences. I remember on my first drive with the driving instructor or whatever, we were driving around and I was the last one of the day. So when it was done, the time was over, he was just like, okay, yeah, you can just drive home now. And I was like, dude, I have no clue where we are. I do not know how to get home here. This is one of my first times driving. Why are you making me do this? And there was one time where we had to parallel park.
Oh,
you know how
that's
hard
tough.
that was.
Parallel parking is tough. I think I've done it about 3 times in my life.
Yeah, and
Jonathan did it.
Yeah, I got boy
Famously.
wonder for that.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
First boy wonder, yeah.
But anyways, I remember that he was like, okay, turn right here and parallel park. So I parallel park. I thought I did a pretty good job, and he was like, you would have failed if this was the driver's test.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what did I do? And he's like, well, you turned left. When I totally just spaced out and turned left instead of right. And I was like, oh, wow.
That actually happened while I was driving to take my in-person driving test. My mom kept saying, turn left here, and I was so scared and so nervous and so out of it, I would just turn right. She got really mad at me because she thought I was doing it on purpose.
Oh, wow.
To mess with her, but I literally had lost all concept of the word left and right. But then I passed it, so that's pretty good.
That's good.
Anyways, now it's time for everybody's favorite segment,
Which we'll be back to that topic later.
Flash Flick Flex, with me. Just kidding.
Just
It's everyone's
what?
favorite
Ooh.
subject, but I decided to spice it up a little bit. I have a lot of interests. I have a lot of hobbies. I decided to pick something else from my wealth of things.
He's a bit of a renaissance man. He kind of does it all.
Exactly. Obviously, I'm a film buff. I'm a fan of
Introducing a new segment.
Yeah, introducing a new segment.
He
I'm a
loves
film
movies. He loves bugs.
buff. I love bugs.
What else do you love?
Bugs. That's just. I'm just a victim of circumstance. There just happen to be bug-related things I enjoy.
No,
It's
wait.
not
I
my
just
passion.
want to tell the viewers who are who really love the flick facts. Don't worry.
They'll be
Don't
back
worry,
eventually.
They'll be back.
Sure as I knew.
We're trying some new segments. Well, Clay is for now. Well, we might start introducing new ones. I know change is hard. Some people don't
So
like change.
you know me as Clay, one-time boy wonder winner.
Yeah.
Hopefully more times. You
As
know me
Theodore
as
Roosevelt said, change is
Change is
a
bad.
beautiful.
Change is bad.
something I'll never understand, and
I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I don't care.
All right. So what is it? What is the segment?
Anyways, you know me as a film buff. I'm a fan of acclaimed and kind of underground artsy movies like The Cat in the Hat, Bug's Life, Shark Boy and Lava Girl. But this is my new. I have a lot of interests. One of my big interests is I'm a very, very lazy, very slothful person, and so I catch myself sleeping a lot. So I decided to create sort of an advice show for people like me who love to sleep a lot. It's called Clay's Lays of the Day, which are places that I had laid down earlier that day and fallen asleep. And so for today's Lay of the Day, it was actually a place that almost any incoming IU student would know, and most people would remember. It was, of course, we all heard the story about Herman B. Wells, and we saw the statue, and we were supposed to shake his hand. He's sitting there on the bench by the sample gates with his bronze hand extended, and everyone goes up and shakes it, and something never, that's kind of gross, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It never exactly sat well with me that this man had all these disgusting people going up and shaking his hand at all.
Never once have I seen him use hand sanitizer.
Never. I see, all these woodland creatures crawling all over, This guy, he's pretty gross too. Like Jonathan said, he never used hand sanitizer.
I even
at
saw
all.
a bug on his hand a few times.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's, he did a lot for IU, but you can do a lot for yourself by getting good hygiene. So I decided that I was going to function as a towel, and I decided that my laying spot of the day would be the Herman B. Wells statue. I decided to lay myself over his outstretched hand like a towel, so he could use my sleeping body as a towel to wipe the disgusting germs off of his hand.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, so I woke up the next day after doing that. I'd slept through most of my classes, and some of my previous obligations. But I realized the next morning when I left, I gotta be honest, that hand was clean enough to eat off. So I decided to eat some of my food off of it, and it tasted really, really good. So anyways, that is my Clay's Lays of the day.
Wow. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
right.
Hopefully you can use that advice and decide to sleep on a statue, clean it up. You can even eat off of it.
I'll consider.
Absolutely.
I'll
Well, I
consider
loved
thinking about
hearing this new segment, and I would also love to hear another new segment. Stephanie, do you
Featuring a
have-
new boy.
featuring the new boy Stephanie.
Or girl.
I'm excited to hear what you have for us.
Okay, so my segment is going to be Stephanie's Epiphanies.
Stephanie's Epiphanies. Stephanie's
Wait, what's an epiphany?
Okay,
Can you please lend us?
recently I've had some epiphanies,
Epiphanies.
but I like to call them epiphanies because that sounds better and it rhymes
Just
with my name.
phonetically, yeah.
Stephanie's Epiphanies.
And so my epiphanies have actually involved some of you guys.
Oh,
Okay.
So I thought I would tell you about some of them, and then you guys can guess who I'm talking about.
So this is a game show type of
okay.
thing.
Yeah,
So we're working together in this one, right?
yeah.
Trying to see who
Collaborative, not
fits
competitive.
in
So
best.
there's three, and if we match the three of us up correctly, we get a point for each one.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Sounds good.
Okay.
First Epiphany.
So epiphany number 1.
Epiphany.
So I saw that one of you is going to be a plumber, and you're going to live in Greenland, and you use icicles as your tools. You're going to live in an igloo with a few penguins named Bobo, Jazz, and Rocco. Oh. You're going to have long, scraggly hair, and due to the cold weather, you're going to have shrunk to 4 feet tall. And you are no longer a cold one because he only drinks hot chocolate to stay warm.
No.
So,
Or who do you think this could,
I'm actually afraid this is me.
who do you think this could possibly be?
So this long, scraggly hair. Who could?
Listeners of the show don't realize that Billy is actually already very short. He's only 4'2".
No.
So if that would be
I
a
actually
big-
I'm actually 6'2", but I do think that height thing was a little jab at me. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
that could
I
be a
think
good
that
guess.
I don't know. I feel like you seem to have like a guilty conscience about this. It's probably. Don't you think it might be you?
I mean, I
could be
don't want
Billy.
to admit that I'd ever drink a hot one, but I just have a feeling in my gut.
Just forget the hot one. Think about living in Greenland.
I mean,
and-
green
and
is my
icicles.
favorite color too. That's another thing
true.
that really made me think, oh wow,
Right.
Greenland. And then the plumber thing.
Penguins.
We did talk about in the first episode some weird stuff that happened, freshman horror stories with
And
the
yours involved a
bathroom.
bathroom.
Yeah,
No,
you're-
this
yeah,
is
yours
gotta be
involved a
Billy.
bathroom.
All right,
This has got to be Billy.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh.
guess
All
Billy.
right, second.
Okay, well,
I
that's
agree.
a good guess. I'll
Second
reveal
epiphany.
later.
Second Epiphany.
Okay, so the next epiphany, one of you is going to be a professional hiker, and you're going to live in the mountains. And your best friend is the local raccoon named Charlie. And you're going to have 3 crazy children who were basically raised by your raccoon friend Charlie, and so now they like to eat from the dumpsters. And for transportation, you drive a horse-drawn wagon, and in your free time, you take classes on how to communicate with the forest animals.
Okay, these are all like very in depth. I feel like
That is very in depth. There's a lot to uncover here.
because this is either going to be me or Jonathan,
Well, I mean,
So
it could be
first-
me. We could
It
switch it
still
too.
could be Billy.
right? But this doesn't scream Billy to me.
So we have children raised by what animal?
by a
raccoon.
raccoon.
By a raccoon. Okay, so how did we
horse-drawn
have these
carriage.
children? Do we have a
Wait,
wife?
I
Or
think I have an idea.
are we married?
You're married
You
to the
do
raccoon.
have a wife, but she's not really
But she's
in
a
the
raccoon?
picture.
She
is a-
well, yeah,
she's a raccoon.
she's the
She's a raccoon.
raccoon.
You're trying
Yeah.
to get her back. That's why you're learning animal language. I think this might be you
Oh.
because you wear a Miami Heat shirt that has a big logo for Thomas's English Muffins, and everyone knows
That's true.
those people are in a horse-drawn wagon.
That is true. Yeah.
Like the shirt you wear a lot is
I'm
what they
constantly repping the horse-drawn wagon. It's, I think it's something that's in my roots.
He doesn't believe in any form of transportation besides horse-drawn wagons, which caused me to believe that this is probably going to be Jonathan. Do you guys
I'll
like
say
it?
Jonathan.
I'll say that,
It's like
that
it.
sounds good.
Good,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
What's your third epiphany?
The third epiphany. So one of you in the future will be a dog groomer, and you use your own shampoo, and you use your own razor to shave the fur off of the dogs.
Like all naked.
Okay.
Okay, this has to be Clay.
is that
'cause
all?
he's
Is that
super
no,
hairy.
no,
He
no,
has
there's
really
more,
hairy-
there's more. So he always has at
He's a
least 10
dog.
dogs running around the house because he needs to practice for work. And then he only eats dog treats because he just loves dogs so much that he decides that he wants to kind of live like one.
Oh, this could be my. I did
And
once eat
he
a dog
also
treat.
loves to knit sweaters for
I
his
did eat a dog
dogs.
treat once too.
Oh,
And I did once try to knit a sweater vest for my dog.
I mean, it's got to be
Wow.
Clay. We've
I mean,
already
from process of
eliminated.
elimination would be Clay if we're right with the other two. I don't know though.
I guess we could reconsider.
Okay.
I think I'm feeling pretty good about
She
our
mentioned like
guesses so
shaving
far.
or something, and remember that time you shaved your.
I'm not a big
legs?
dog lover, but I did shave my legs. Use my own razor to
And
shave
you
my
do
legs.
eat dog treats.
That's true.
That's true.
Okay, I think we got to lock in.
I
these
do eat dog
answers.
treats. Yeah,
Okay.
that's, that's gonna be me. That's
Okay.
How many did we
So-
get right?
You actually got all 3 right.
Yes.
So good job.
Okay, disclaimer here: we actually had no idea.
No, like they had no idea and they got it
No, you-
perfectly right.
Wait, can you explain?
Okay, so Billy is
That's
going to be the
crazy.
plumber
That's
that lives
awesome.
in Greenland because I think that he loves winter and he is tall, so I think it'd be really funny if, he did happen
true,
to, shrink. And I guess, his favorite color is green, so that makes sense why he'd want to live in a country that has the
Is that
name.
actually what? You're coming for that now?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
You thought about it for a long time.
Okay, and then Jonathan is a professional hiker because he likes to surf and do outdoorsy type of stuff.
Ooh.
So
That's true.
yeah, and then Clay, he likes
What about the
dogs and
raccoon
other
wife,
animals.
though? I don't know
Oh,
about
Actually,
that.
don't
but,
like animals. but-
I guess once you get this
I like,
far enough.
I like to eat animal food.
That was a jab.
Yeah.
And I shave my legs.
That was a roast about animals. No, I don't know.
We actually saw some deer before we left here.
yeah,
he's
yeah.
terrified.
I really hate deer. I see them all the time behind my apartment, and the light flashes in their eyes. They look like little devils.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, thank you very much, Stephanie.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
you're
much. That was a great
welcome.
new segment.
Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, but I hear that you've gotten caught in the crosshairs of something recently.
Well, all 3 of us.
Oh, really?
It's time for an old favorite segment. It's not my Judge
Featuring
Jonathan
Judge Jonathan
Falk
Falk.
currently entering the courthouse. Billy, Clay, Stephanie,
not me.
please take a seat.
Oh no.
Boy,
Please.
Get ready to be served.
I'm already sitting.
Okay, so
I was
this is
standing
a
up.
special.
I was like, no,
This is a special Not My Falk related to our topic. It's a driving related It's Not My Falk. So, earlier on in this semester, I'm driving with these 3 here to Indianapolis. Now, I'm from Florida, so I have no idea how to get there. I don't know my way around the Midwest. Clay says he doesn't need directions because he's from there,
I'm
so,
from
so
Minneapolis.
he'll just be able to get me there. But pretty quickly into our trip, he falls right asleep. And the reason
so
was
me.
because Billy is such a perfectionist, and he was forcing Clay to stay up all night practicing the songs for the Boys Cold One Hour
was.
again and again.
He was.
So Stephanie was like, okay, I can pull up the directions. I have Google Maps. I have a phone, so I can do this. But unfortunately, she uses voice commands and ends up getting us directions to Minneapolis.
No, Stephanie.
Completely different area.
Oh.
That's not the epiphany we want.
So Clay, he's just completely passed out. A little bit, probably about like an hour into the drive, he wakes up. And then he falls asleep again. But when he wakes up, he doesn't say anything. Like, he doesn't give us any warning that we're going the wrong direction. And then all of this time, Billy just insists on blasting music. I don't even know what it was. Billy, what music were you listening to?
The music. I was listening to WIUX supporting.
Okay, that's
supporting our people.
fair.
Come on,
I
man.
don't know if it reaches
I
quite that
don't know.
far.
Yeah,
but-
GaragePod was playing. I mean, it was a really long drive.
Yeah.
So like GaragePod came and went.
And we actually had to stop and record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we stopped and recorded. This actually happened.
We're actually doing this right now.
Yeah, so because of this,
This is actually the current
we
situation.
could barely even hear the directions anyways because Billy just insisted on having the music so
But these are
loud.
still faulty directions to Minneapolis, right?
So we end up in Minneapolis, obviously not where we want to be. I mean, of course, I can't really be blamed for this. I'm just the driver. I don't really know what's going on in the Midwest.
You can know as soon as you cross like.
I
the
just
state line.
hey,
Okay. It's not your
throw
fault.
it back at the judge,
It can't be your fault.
or you'll be thrown out immediately.
No.
So I would like you guys to defend your positions. Whose fault is it?
All right. Well, I'd like to defend myself here. First of all, yes, I was blasting WIUX music. Sorry for supporting what we do, guys. And you guys could have asked for me to turn it down. Anyways, as for the whole,
You couldn't even hear
we
us.
did,
Yeah.
but-
Clay, as for Clay falling asleep because I kept him up making him practice this song. We needed to practice that song, and I'll tell you why. You guys falling asleep. Always mess. That's the other thing. The orchestra never shows up, and it's just a disaster. Hopefully they show up today. We've got to.
Yeah, we got a slot after this.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Anyways.
Just kidding.
So plus, I mean, come on. I'm not from this area. I shouldn't have to be in charge of the directions. All right. So it is not my fault.
Okay, well,
that's
I'd
my
like-
statement.
I'd like to respond by saying, first of all, it's very irresponsible to play really loud music on a road trip because we were all telling him turn it down and he didn't even hear us.
That's true.
And we were trying to text him, but he was actually streaming because it's actually a feature where you can stream WIUX anywhere you are.
WIUX.org/stream.
Yeah, you
Start
should do it.
streaming. You can stream us right now. Many of you, maybe
You're probably
are.
doing that right now. So
Most of Bloomington is right now. But I was forced to stay up all night by Billy to try and compose these operas. And he was jealous because he checked our merchandise websites and he saw that my t-shirts and my posters and my pencil holders and my fuzzy socks were way doing much better than his. So he got jealous. He decided to claim that he's giving me a performance-enhancing drug.
Mine's it's a rare collector's item. Okay, sorry.
It's a rare collector's item because nobody has it.
All right.
But except for the WIX factory, they have a lot of them.
Makes it more valuable. Okay.
But he gave me a performance-enhancing treatment, which was supposed to make my voice sound like an angel's voice and let me stay up all night. But instead, in his jealousy, he decided to give me a natural sleep inducer, which completely knocked me out on the whole ride. So I'm a city slicker. I've lived in Indianapolis my whole life. I know my way around that city like I know my way around the WIUX studio. So when I heard that we were going there, I said, I'll do it. No problem. But Billy had different plans. So it's actually Billy's fault by poisoning me with this foul, phony, fraud formula.
Okay, so Stephanie,
not my fault.
let's hear your side of this. How
Okay.
did you not realize that we're going to Minneapolis?
Okay, well, I asked Siri, and I kind of trust her a lot, because they've updated her a lot.
That's your
but
problem right there. But
also there was 3 other guys in the car that should have been able to read the signs, especially Jonathan.
I've been
As the
okay.
driver, you should have seen signs that point us
you
towards
cannot attack the
Minneapolis.
judge in here.
Okay, sorry.
Immediately. You'll never be
So I'm
invited
new
back.
to this.
No, I'm joking, but
Okay, but then also
let's hear it.
it would have been helpful if Clay would have been awake to help us to get to Indy because he's obviously from there, and Billy was the one that caused him to fall asleep. So
It's true. You never thought to look to see where we were going, though?
Like when we crossed into like Ohio and then all those other.
well, I mean, we were
States.
kind of heading north towards Minneapolis, or towards Indianapolis, and
Then
Minneapolis
just
is
kept going
north,
for
I
another
guess. So I
9
guess
hours.
we kept going.
All right.
Okay, that's fair. I can get
enough.
behind that possibly. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, Clay, I know you were trying to do the right thing here. You know your way. You know your way to Indianapolis, which I respect. And you just fell asleep. You were trying to do your best for the boys by practicing. You just couldn't hold it anymore, especially considering those pills that Billy gave you.
formula.
The faulty pills.
Those weren't
The
real.
faulty foul formula.
Stephanie, I don't really know what was going
Yes,
on.
I'm off pick.
I don't know what was going on with you not realizing that we were going to Minneapolis. I think that is kind of the blunder of the week right there. Much worse than anything I did.
I mean, if she did
really?
if she did 9 times, it'd be.
But I think essentially, Billy is the most at fault here.
Yes.
No.
So, Stephanie and Clay, it is not your fault.
Yes. Why was Stephanie's first appearance? It's
Darn
not her
it.
fault.
Oh man. Okay. You know what? I'll take
Billy,
the
what
blame
do you have to
this
defend
time.
yourself?
You know, I'll take the blame this time. I mean, I gave all my defenses. I don't think it was my fault, but
Yeah.
you know, or my fault. But you know, every once in a while, you gotta just take the blame,
You gotta take the fault.
take the fault.
All right, court adjourned.
Yeah.
Now, if we could quickly go back to our subject.
Yes, driving.
Learning how to drive.
Jonathan, Stephanie, do you have any?
Because I know, Bill, you have
thoughts?
another story about a driving instructor who was discriminated on you based on your hometown.
I have a quick story about me with my driving instructor. It's pretty quick. So when I'm learning how to drive, right, you learn how to drive in the city first, and then you learn how to drive on like the big highways. And so this is my first time driving on the highway. The instructor, he's doing a great job. I feel like I'm driving pretty well. And all of a sudden, my instructor informs me that somebody behind me is doing some sort of obscene hand gestures, and neither of us have either idea why. I don't know if it was like, he didn't tell me what. I don't know if it was like a gang sign, if it was like a peace symbol, but like a mean peace symbol. I'm not really sure.
It's a hate
Maybe had a
symbol.
bumper sticker that you didn't agree with or something.
Yeah, so this guy, he's doing these obscene hand gestures, you know, he didn't honk or anything.
This is real?
but This happened, yeah. So my instructor was like, dude, what did you do? Like, you made this guy mad. And I was like, I have no idea. My instructor had no idea either. So, you know, sometimes on the road, it can get nasty out there. But
That seems like a
I was just trying
traumatic
to
experience.
learn, you know, and neither of us knew what I did wrong. But
Were you scared after that of driving?
no, I was okay. It was
just back
fine.
then.
You know what? They can do those gestures all they want. You know, that's
just-
not gonna keep a
He's
cold
just
one
making
boy
himself.
down.
He's just getting himself tired out.
He was.
You know, he's just getting himself ready for a cold one. Mm-hmm. So Stephanie, do you have any learning to drive experience?
Okay, I have one that's definitely not as traumatic as yours, Clay. But so I had this lady, and it was like my second or third in car, so I was feeling pretty comfortable. And we ended the in car kind of early, and we had extra time. So she's like, "Oh, we're gonna stop at UDF." And so I park at UDF, and she says that she's gonna go inside to use the bathroom and get some food. But I actually saw her go behind the building, and she started smoking a cigarette while I was like paying to be on this in-car. And so I can't believe that she was wasting my parents' money
Wow.
to take a personal smoke break. And then, yeah.
You know, bad for her health and bad for your driving.
Bad for your-
Exactly.
bad for your health too.
Yeah.
Ew, that second hand.
You know, one time, actually, now that I think about it, my driving instructor, we were driving behind a car, and I stopped. Suddenly, the car honked at me, and all of a sudden, he sprang in my defense, and he freaked out, and he started pounding on the horn and said, he is a student driver. Like, the guy had any idea he was a student driver. He's like, okay, we're going to tail this guy. And I'm like,
What?
No, no, we're not. But he made me follow this guy, and he kept honking over it.
What?
No way.
This is my
ridiculous.
And this was my very, very first time driving, so a little bit. So now you can, hopefully, you guys have some insight into why I was a little bit scared to drive.
Yeah, I'm
for, like-
surprised you're driving now.
Right now, I mean, I'm a driving pro, as you'll find out later.
Oh wow.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I remember I had a driving instructor. We like pulled up into my driveway. My brother was playing basketball. He just got out and just like started shooting hoops.
Started shooting
like at the end of the
hoops?
drive, I was like, okay, why
Is he
don't-
good?
Use my basketball. Why don't you? I don't really remember.
Maybe he's like a failed NBA prospector to turn to the only second rational career, which is teaching people how to drive in
Interesting.
Munster, Indiana.
Yeah, my home.
So now it is everybody's favorite segment.
The news
News on the 39.
With 39,
almost
well,
40 with
maybe
Sergey.
Yeah, Sergey, what's going on in
What's
the
going
world?
on? Tell me what's
All
going
right, so we've
just
got a
hit 40
few
right now.
interesting things going.
on. News on the 40s now.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
I don't know if anyone watched the debates last night, but Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump squared off against one another last night during the second televised debate of the 2016 general election. The tape of Donald Trump saying that he liked to kiss and grope women without their consent was at the forefront of the discussion. Both exchanged multiple personal barbs at each other, making it the nastiest debate in presidential history.
Ooh,
Yeah.
how do you measure that statistically? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. But on the lighter
Nasty
side,
levels.
for some campus news, it's Pledge Drive Bloomington.
Yes.
So on Monday...
Learn to pledge drive.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot
Don't
of
learn
fun
to
doing
drive.
that.
That's unnecessary.
So on Monday, we have a garage sale at the Station House. Tuesday, we've got a dine and donate at Mother Bear's. And on Wednesday, we have a comedy show at the Station House. And On Thursday, we have a 24-hour pledge-a-thon.
24
And
hours.
We've saved the best for last. And on Friday, we have a pledge drive concert with Knee High and Holla. And it's $7 in advance.
Knee High and Holla.
Yeah, both.
I can see both of
Those are
them.
my two favorite bands.
Those are my, after a certain band from Bloomington.
After Apache Drop.
After Apache Drop,
they're my
of
favorite
course.
Well,
Not
hey,
Apache Graduate.
if you want to get tickets, it's $7 in advance. But if you get late, it's $10 at the door. So
Do not pay that
try to
$10.
sign up early,
We'll do it,
guys.
Well, actually, sign up late because we need the money.
We really, really,
Thank
really.
you all so much for supporting us. We'll
We
be
need
there
money. We're recording on iPhones right now.
Signing, we'll be signing all your Boys Cold One merchandise.
Signing all your merchandise. You know, we'll have a Clay tent, a Billy tent, a Jonathan tent, a Sergey tent. So, you know, there'll be a map of, because like we'll have a lot of stuff up.
Oh, yeah.
So there'll be maps you can go see our, we have different amusement park rides that we're going to be sponsoring. You can dunk Billy.
Yeah, there's like a
There's a
Ferris
dunk, yeah.
wheel with like Jonathan's face on all the carts or whatever.
Right. Exactly. You're gonna ride his teeth. What? I forget my ride, I think. I don't think it's operational right now.
Yeah, well, that'll be a surprise, I guess.
A little bit of
All right,
surprise.
it's a tilt to clay. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, that sounds
it
very-
spins around and.
That
But
sounds-
anyways,
that
thank
sounds
you, Sergey,
scary.
very much for that news. We're moving on to one of our last segments. My segment, McDunn's, McModern,
McModern,
McMysteries. Yes, spooky music. So, you know, every week I try to solve some crime, do some good in the community. And so while I was walking around campus, one thing that I've noticed recently is, some people who are just like having a hard time. A lot of the homeless community here in Bloomington.
So people who are out on the street.
Yeah,
destitute.
people who has grown tremendously, especially in the last few weeks. And these people are just at every corner asking for money. Every time I pass them, they've got these red buckets. They're not educated. They don't know how to talk in normal words. They usually like speak in like, they only know letters. They're always like IUDM, FTK.
They just don't even spell words.
Yeah, they don't even spell
Yeah, it
words.
doesn't even make any sense.
So I always feel
It's
really
sad.
bad for them, but I never really have any money to donate. So
Why don't you usually?
there's
have
other
money?
things you can do besides donating money to people in need. So, the first guy I went to, I gave him the rest of my Chipotle that I was eating. I mean, it was mostly.
You just threw it in the bucket, right?
Yeah, I just threw that at them.
It was a burrito bowl, right? You
Yeah,
kinda,
burrito
kinda
bowl.
poured
Just
it in
kind of
there.
poured it all over him. I mean, okay.
But I know they appreciate it.
And those homeless people, they have such nice clothes too.
Yeah, they have really nice clothes, but that's because people are giving them to them. So I actually took
People
off
are
my
turning up the
jacket.
street. Yeah, you put it
threw
on
at
them.
one of them. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
don't thank me. I'm just doing my part.
You
Everyone
try,
should
you
do
try to
their
teach
part.
them English a little bit. You're like, jacket. This is a jacket.
Yeah, Jack.
They just said IUDM.
Yeah. You're like, that's not a word. What is it? Udem? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Anyways, so let's just say that basically, I really try to help the homeless out there, try to make their day. And as I'm doing this, I find out that not everyone is as nice as me. There's some menace going around the streets, and they're harassing these people who are. I didn't actually see any of it, but I heard all about it. Someone was going around campus, around Kirkwood, harassing people who were trying to fundraise for
disgusting.
Riley's Children's Hospital, which is a great cause. We highly suggest that you guys donate. I'm sure you know lots of people who are fundraising for that. So
Many
please
of those
do
people
that.
with red buckets may need treatment in Raleigh that they're not getting.
Yeah. But like apparently people were like throwing I guess it was like one guy apparently. One guy was like throwing food and like just random objects.
I heard about this on the news.
Yeah. I was like,
He's, like, throwing
this is
clothes and food at them?
this is just criminal. These people are fundraising for a good cause, guys. These people are horrible. So please support the
Support
IU
Riley
Dance
Hospital.
Marathon, the Riley marathon. No, like seriously.
And support the homeless people.
It's an awesome cause.
Give them your
It's an
Chipotle.
awesome cause, and it's really sad that there's some criminal going around messing with people. When I mean, I guess for every person like me who's going out there, helping the community,
Feeding
there's
the
another
homeless.
person who's going around just messing everything up. But I never found this guy. I tried to locate him.
This scumbag is still out there.
Yeah, exactly. So if you find anything about it, hear anything about this horrible crime, please tweet us, call us, DM us on whichever social media you choose.
Slide a
Just let us know.
slide a letter under the
slide a
the door.
letter under
An
our
anonymous
door.
letter, not in our
Exactly.
actual doors. WX door.
Hashtag who McDone it.
Who McDonald?
That's the question.
Exactly. So I'm just kind of disgusted that you're going out of your way to clothe and feed homeless people, and
Meanwhile,
there's some guy
someone's messing up fundraising efforts.
messing up fundraising by throwing like old nasty clothes. Like it's probably stinky clothes, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really hear the details.
And
but-
cold Mexican food.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
very upsetting, very upsetting. But speaking of questions,
Speaking of questions,
we've got some questions from our loyal viewers. Thank you very
course.
much.
We've got some great ones.
Thank you so much for submitting questions. You should do it every week. We love you.
Our first question comes from John, and he asks,
John is a repeating question.
he's a repeat question. He's one of our most valuable listeners, I would say. He's a MVL. He asks, what can you do to make yourself feel alive? What can you do?
Well, I guess this is a question for dead people because they want to feel alive. If you're alive, then
Yeah.
you're already alive, so it's not a problem.
Exactly.
I know
How do you
there's
feel?
cryogenesis. There's you could download your mind, make like an algorithm, download it into a flash drive or something. Say that. I mean, there's nothing really right now. You're gonna have to wait for the future.
Sorcery.
Yeah, sorcery. Yeah.
And if you haven't been alive yet, but you will be alive eventually, the advice would be to somehow be able to become born. And
exactly.
live.
Yeah.
Exactly. So think thoughts about being born or something. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So those are. Do you have any? What can you do to make you feel alive, Stephanie?
I think drinking some cold ones and listening to the Boys Cold One Hour can definitely be a good start to that.
Thank you.
Just
This is the only thing I'm living for at this point.
exactly. I'm on my wit's end. Just a disclaimer: the dead cannot drink or listen, except for the
No.
Boys Cold 1 Hour.
Absolutely.
That's the only, That's actually we specifically designed it so that dead people and spirits passing through this world can listen to it.
Yeah.
All right. What's our next question?
Our
So-
next question comes from Ethan, and he says he has a friend who is into hot ones. Do we have any advice to get them to become a cold one guy?
Oh God, I have some advice for you, Ethan. Take this friend and say, "Listen, I know you like hot ones and I like cold ones. It's not going to work out." And then
It's not going to work out.
go instantly to your campus police and report this person for crimes that
Down with the hot one mafia.
down with the Hollow Mafia.
Jeez.
Report them for crimes. Get that person arrested. Then you'll be safe. Get them thrown in jail for the rest of your life. That is my advice to get them to become a cold one guy. Through serving hard time, they'll come out a changed man.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
you know, some people they respond to the pathos approach like that. They really respond to the emotions. Some people, though, they need the logic. They need some cold hard facts.
Cold hard.
Stephanie, you have
Cold
anything
hard
to say?
facts. They need.
Jonathan's still talking.
They should.
They need to see.
He's blundering.
They need to see the damage that can
Blunder on
happen
my
to
part.
them as a result of drinking a hot one. You know, a lot of times.
Look at your throat.
Think
It's
of your
torn
throat.
up.
Think of your tongue.
Yeah.
How many times have you drank a hot one
Think of your
and
family.
regretted it?
Oh, no.
Right?
Think of
Think of your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
You're killing them. You're sending them to an early grave.
You're killing your taste buds. You know,
Killing your
you can't even taste those hot ones after a while.
No, each one just tastes like another. How about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, definitely stay away from like hot chocolate and coffee. Make sure none of that stuff is around them.
Yeah, apparently that's my problem in the future.
Yeah, don't become like Billy in the future.
Okay, yeah, that's an alternate dimension.
Just don't become like him in general.
Okay.
Okay, really? All right. The last question is from Braden Hinkle, big fan of the show. We're big fans of you. He asked, "What is your favorite newspaper comic?" Jonathan, do you have a response to that?
Ooh, I think my favorite newspaper comic is probably Garfield. You know, I just love that cat because he really reminds me of my friend Clay over here.
Okay.
You know,
really?
he's really lazy. He has some good lays. You know,
He does have some good lays. And some good
He's-
lasagna.
Ooh,
I right?
lasagna. He's always looking for a treat. He can sleep anywhere. He's probably slept on Herman B. Wells at least once or twice.
Oh, that cat. Don't get me started on that cat. What a grump.
So that's probably my favorite comic. What about you, Billy? Are there any comics you
I don't know
read?
if this is a newspaper comic, but I was always a big fan of Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, that was
that's a
newspaper.
Great
Yeah.
comic. Yeah. What about you guys?
That's a really good one. So I actually, I'm an adult. I don't think I should be looking at kids' pictures and stuff like that.
It's called the newspaper.
Right. So I read other comics in the newspaper. There's a lot of comics in the newspaper. Most comics in the newspaper are actually told through text. So as we know,
okay.
newspapers made up only of comics. Some of them are told through pictures. Most of them are told through text. And there's this. So I actually also preface it. I don't enjoy looking at pictures, but I also don't exactly know how to read. I can sound out certain words. I don't know what they mean. You know, we've talked about this before. I don't exactly know how to read. I think it's called Obituaries. Obituaries
Oh, right.
is this long-running comic strip that
This
I
is kind
really,
of tying
really
into
love.
that alive question.
Right, exactly. So this is a comic strip. I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but it's in almost every newspaper I find. They feature different artists every week, and honestly, I can't read it, but if I did, I know I'd really enjoy it. So my favorite newspaper comic is Obituaries.
Nice.
How about you, Stephanie?
Okay, well, Jonathan actually took mine because I would say Garfield too,
Oh,
because he's
he reminds you of me.
No, he actually reminds me of my own cat, Tigger. He's also an orange cat, and he's fat.
He's fat.
Does
yeah.
he like lasagna?
That's not that nice. Do you think he has low cholesterol or high cholesterol?
I think he has probably high cholesterol, I'd say.
I can borrow some of his cholesterol. I have an unhealthily low cholesterol, as we all know. So that is the end of our questions. Thank you
so
for
much.
John, Ethan, and Braden for submitting great questions this week, as always. Mm-hmm. We love spending an hour with you. We're almost done. We're not done yet, so don't get worried.
Yeah. So it's our last thing that we do. As you know, we always do a song about whatever the topic is. It was learning how to drive for this time. So that's what this song is about. Really quick thing I want to say about driving, just to add on, because we started to mention it earlier, and I just want to touch on it. Another reason we were late, back when we were talking about the boy blunder, there was this car literally blocking the entire driveway. It was like a very skinny, well, it was a piece of the road, very skinny piece of the road, trying to like parallel park. And
First we drove down, and this car was literally placed like in the middle of the street.
Yeah, like
not
no
like
clue
in
how
the
they-
middle. Like the car was like facing the wrong
Like
direction.
it did not make sense. Like how did they get into this position? Like,
No, literally incomprehensible in a tiny street.
we wait like super long for them to like.
Okay.
Drive.
They do a probably like, what is it, 77-point turn?
Yeah, 77
They
point
clear
turn,
it,
the classic.
and then they decide they're going to parallel park.
Yeah, and so we
Which is to be torture, because we're already late. Emily's going to kill us.
we finally get to the WIUX building and past this person, and then as we're sitting there, we see like 5 minutes later, we see the car drive by. I guess their parallel park endeavor failed, and they're still going out there.
Oh, wait, yeah, I forgot about that. And no, but this was like a while. Like they had been trying to parallel park
This was a good while.
for a long time. So we hope that person
Learns
found
how to
parking.
drive.
Okay, learns how to drive and also finds a parking spot first.
Yes, that's true.
A very big parking spot where they can't get into situations that literally make no sense, where their car is diagonal on the street. But we were thinking about learning how to drive, and we decided to write a song about it, a true song about it that me and Billy are going to perform for you right now. It is called, it doesn't have a name actually.
It's called driving. I don't know. Make up a name.
Make up a name, yeah, send it in, DM us, please.
Hashtag Get Cold One Boys, yeah.
Hashtag new name, new title. My test after failing it 3 times. I learned how to drive between the lines. I got some driving gloves and a cool leather jacket. I got some napkins and some spare ketchup packets for the glove compartment. Yeah, I'm a driving pro.
I'm an expert.
I wave and say hi when I see my bros.
His name is Bert.
I can smell the flowers when I drive past the foliage. I can drive forever. I have great gas foliage. When I drive, I feel alive. When I drive, I feel so alive. Technically, I've only drove in the parking lot at Lowe's. And technically, my dad drove, but I watched really close. When I drive, I feel alive. Yeah, when I drive, I feel so alive. I drive each night in my race car bed. Lots of thoughts racing through my head. In my dreams, I crash and I'm dead. When I wake up, my sheets are wet with sweat. Seriously, guys, I promise it's just sweat. Seriously, don't look at me like that. It's just sweat.
All
I
right.
promise. I stopped doing that like 2 months ago.
Yeah, sure. Sweat on your sheets.
Okay, really? Anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
As always, spending an hour with us.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, you want to say
I
that
really enjoyed having a special guest Stephanie on. Thank
Yeah,
you
we-
again
thank
to
you so
Stephanie.
much.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
It's a great time.
Our guest vocalist with the really high vocals.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
I don't know who it was. It
Is
was
that Stephanie or?
It definitely wasn't me.
It was
I don't-
Stephanie, I
I don't
think.
know if it was me.
I think it was. I think it was Sergey, maybe actually.
Yeah.
I think he
I
hopped
think
on the
that was
microphone.
Sergey,
Okay.
yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, I
we
don't know.
love you. Thank you so much for listening to us.
We'll see you here next week, same time, same place.
Yeah,
We'll
and
see you very soon. We can't wait to see you. And we can't wait to penetrate your ear canals.
to bond with you.
Bond
and
with
make sure you guys keep a look at on social media to get the details on Willkommen to das Show.
Welcome to the show and the pledge drive. Anyways,
Great
we wish you all
opportunity.
sweet dreams, and we can't wait to hear you next week.
Thank you so much.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.